Alright, so we're gonna do some more retro Spaceball. I've got a few things planned out. I went down to my buddy's place in Tucson, gave him a ride from the airport, and that's why I couldn't stream yesterday. But it's great because he gave me some awesome feedback on the mobile build. So since I haven't had a chance to really show it to anyone, like physically, it was cool to be able to, you know, get some direct feedback and watch him play and see his frustrations and see what he liked and that type of thing. So I came up with a little list. It's pretty little, so I don't really need to bust it out. But first thing he mentioned was that the game's controls were difficult because he wanted to be able to slide his finger. And right now it's set up as buttons. Buttons are a little bit easier to do. They're great for rapid prototyping, I realized, because they just pretty much automatically work. If they work for the mouse, they work for the touchscreen, and it just works really well. But if you're trying to get a slider function or heavy functionality on it, it doesn't work that well for that. It's great for rapid prototyping, not that great for final product of what I'm trying to do. So what I'm going to do instead is use a slider. Now I'm still learning about how to use it because I've never used one before. I worked on a game that used one, but I wasn't programming that game. I was just doing the art for that one. That was about a year ago. So I mean, I have some, you know, understanding of how it works, and I had taken a look at the code that he had written for that game a while ago, and you know, so I understand how it works. I just haven't actually implemented one before. So I am going to wait on that. I don't think I'll get to it tonight since it's already kind of late, and I've been driving a lot, and I'll probably go to bed before too long here. But there were a couple other things worth mentioning. Right now there's warning arrows, and I can show you here in the player object. We've got our graphics here. Let's see, within the graphics. It looks like they never made it into the graphics, so that's alright. Got our worn orb zones. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find the worn arrows. Okay, so there they are. Okay, so they're on the game panel, which is probably a better spot for them than being on the player, so that makes sense. Alright, and it looks like they're the same for mobile and computer. So it's outside of either of those. Let's see. So here's our warning arrow for the left and our warning arrow for the right. And if on the screen here, if we turn them on, you can see that they are set at the width for mobile. So if you were playing a mobile or a build of the game, then it would be right at the edges. Now what my plan is to make them go up and down with the pinball height. So for them to always be locked. So when they come up, it'll be telling you exactly how high it is, even though it's not on the screen yet. And I did have that idea when I first built the arrows, but I also wanted to do it quickly for the sake of rapid prototyping and just get it done. So when I did it, I just kind of threw it together, and the art doesn't look good, and it works. It's functional, but it needs a heavy coat of polish here. So that's what we're going to be doing today. It's pretty elementary stuff, really. I'm going to be using Piskel here. If you've been seeing my stuff before, then it'll be just like that. So I'm going to just get started on this. Now what you can see here is we've got two different layers, and that's just so I can export them separately. All I do is I just delete the layer, export it, Control-Z to bring it back, delete the other layer, and export that. It's not completely intuitive, but it's quick. So we'll just get right to that. Now I want to make it flashy, and I kind of want to make it a little bit smaller. I feel like if it's right up against the exclamation point, it'll be easier to read because they'll actually be able to blow it up further without taking as much space. So I'm going to get rid of this dark red. And then I'm going to make some type of shape that I can repeat. Hopefully some type of line. And make it flash. Thinking about that size. Think about the easiest way to do this here, to somehow measure. I think I'm going to just fill it in first with white, and then I'm going to select it. Alright, copy it, make a new layer, paste it. And then I'm just going to have to do trial by error here. I think that'll be the easiest method. So here now, just copy. I think I want about that much space, but we'll have to see when we get to the other side to see if that's working. I'm just moving 2 pixels away. So, well, actually there's only 1 in between, it looks like, yeah. So I'm moving 2 pixels, but it only creates 1 in between. And that actually looks pretty decent. But let's see what the mirror image looks like. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make a new layer, and I'm just gonna put it right there, and then I'm gonna mirror it. It says if we hold Alt, it'll do it vertically. Okay, so that's pretty cool, but I don't want them touching. So I think I'm gonna just delete the center there on both of them. And then in order to make that work, I want to figure out a way to make the same type of shape, but horizontally, which is going to be a little bit difficult because the nature of pixels isn't always like that here. I think that's what I want, but I might need one thicker. I think that's gonna be it. Alright, so I'm gonna take that and just make it on top. Well, I can do that a couple ways. This might be a better way. Got too many, but I could take care of that later. There's a way to not have as many. Maybe if I hit the all, I don't know what I did. Anyways, Just gonna keep doing what I was doing. Maybe not. Oh, that's not what I'm doing. Okay. Do Twitch up here. So there's an issue there. So what I've done is I've moved it so the issue is now in the center. I'm just gonna do that. So it kind of mirrors that, so it kind of fixes the issue that way. I'm gonna mirror this one here the same way. Actually, these are completely usable, actually, yeah. I'm doing all this work at once. Oh, wrong button there. Did I get that one? No. Is it? Yeah. So this is one of the main reasons why I like Pistol, is because this mirror tool is like really useful, and this is probably available in other ones. I don't want to pay to find out. This is free. Maybe one day I'll pay for Aspirate just to see what all the fuss is about, but this works. I've been watching a stream of someone doing Game Maker, the new Game Maker, and it looks pretty cool. But it's changed so much since I used Game Maker that I don't know if I'd be able to go back. I kind of like using C# versus GML though, to be honest. I don't know that much about GML. I have a book on it, but it didn't seem to go that deep. And I'm sure it's changed. Alright, so we've got that. We'll go back to this layer. This layer. And we're gonna get rid of this. Alright. Then I'm gonna make a new layer. And I kinda wanna add like a design element to this character. This exclamation point to make it stand out. So I'm just going to do a white outline around it as well here, and I'll probably go back and animate it the same colors. Now The only issue that I wish that they would have gone further with this mirror tool with Piskel, because if it had like a mirror line tool, that would be awesome. A mirror fill tool, that'd be pretty amazing as well. They really should just go all out with their mirror tools, because that's the most useful thing that I've found in this software for sure. Oh, you know what? I totally filled that whole thing in. I wasn't planning on doing that, I just want to do the outline. It looks like my other exclamation point is not mirrored, so that's a design issue. Let me see here. It's easy to fix though. I think I was just in a hurry when I made it the first time, and probably a bit of carelessness involved there. But that's what I'm going back for, because it's just placeholder art. Sometimes when you're making placeholder art, even if you're an artist, it's pointless to spend too much time on it. So, we got all that in. Alright, so I'm gonna colorize it here, and so we'll just make a new frame. We'll just make 4 of them. Alright, red it is. Yeah, and then that. And then we're gonna go orange, yellowish orange. And then we're gonna do like this really dark, this color, but even darker. Let's take a look at what this looks like large. It's hard to tell that big, so I'm gonna bring it down just a bit here. Oh, I think I can drag this. There we go. Because they are gonna be kind of small. Probably only be like that big. Now this is where, as an animator, it's a good idea to squint, because these aren't gonna be directly in the player's like direct vision. He's going to be looking at the bullets, which are going to be in the center of the screen, and these are going to be on your peripheral vision. So that's why it's important that they blink. So it's important to squint here, so you can kind of pretend like you're viewing it through your peripheral vision, or you can actually try to view it through your peripheral vision. It's easier to squint, and especially since I'm tired and I've been driving and using my eyes all day, I'm just going to squint here. And it's working quite well. It's giving, when you squint, it gives the impression that the red there, that constant red, is actually color shifting when it's not. It gives the impression that it's changing with everything, and it's not. So that's a good thing. Optic illusions are always a good thing. If you ever stumble across an optic illusion, take a note of it, because it's useful. Alright, so I like it. Now the next thing I wanted to do, I can quite simply make from this. So I'm gonna save it as a new file here. Lost my patience there. We'll just call it Warn Arrows 2 because it's in the RSP folder. Okay, Warn Arrows 2. So what I want to do now is I want to make a sign. Now, because on this tutorial it's got a pit there, and I don't want players to go in the pits mostly, because I want players to realize that if the ball falls down, that's bad. Right? You don't want it to go down, you want it to go up. If it goes left to right, that's neutral, but down is bad. So I'm going to make a sign, essentially, warning, you know, like, don't go down. So I can use this to make that. So I'm just going to delete these, and we'll start from scratch here, well, from here, and we'll just take this guy. Well, first it'd be nice to know exactly where the center is, so I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm just going to make like a little doodle there. It's really all I need. And I'm just cutting this and pasting it. Now, Piskel doesn't lock on your axis. That's another complaint that I have with it. So if you're moving a lot of pixels over like a really big space, it can be quite annoying. So you almost want to put markers where you need to move something to. If you're doing like huge chunks of level tiles and you need them to be perfectly aligned, you kind of have to make a grid underneath, which is pretty easy to do, but it's time consuming. And I mean, there is a grid. If you zoom in, you can adjust the grid and stuff, but it's not useful like drawing your own grid. So that way you know exactly where, like, you know, 64 pixels is, 32 pixels is, and so on and so forth. 16 pixels, 8 pixels, 4 pixels. I moved it to the center, and now I'm going to just take the other side. Well, you know, it might be easier to start just moving everything. Although, you know what, I don't want this to blink actually, so because I want it to not look like that. Because if it looks like it, it'll get confusing, especially for younger players. Alright, so I'm going to take I'm just gonna merge those down, just like in Photoshop or something. Oh, did I merge the wrong layer there? Okay, did. Okay, so I'm gonna move this layer up and then merge them down. Alright, so that's good. I don't need that white speck anymore. I like the exclamation point, so I'm gonna take that and move it to the center, but move it up. Did I miss? Oops, I've gone too far. So it doesn't want to fit just in the center. what I'm going to do here is I'm going to widen it by just moving it 1 pixel over, and yeah. That's what I've done there. And I think I'm going to skinify it too, make it skinnier here. Alright. Maybe just a little bit shorter now. And also this guy. Again, I'm squinting here. Squinting is a really good idea. I would squint as often as you can, because the more perspectives you see your art from, the better off you are. Squinting is another perspective. So we don't need those anymore. We don't really need the grid, I don't think. Oh yeah, we do. We're gonna make an arrow now. So I'm just gonna make a new layer there, and I'm just gonna use the mirror tool, and I'm gonna draw in white and just kind of guess what an arrow would look like. And already I can see that's too big compared to the exclamation point. I like it, but now the whole thing needs to be moved down a bit. So I'm gonna find my thing, and we're gonna just move it down. So I like the layout. Really, it just needs to be moved down a little bit. I think that's it. No. Oops. Because it's gonna have a line also. Now I don't like the red and I don't like the white. They were just placeholder colors here. So we're gonna get this yellow out that I like. We're gonna do that, and then with the white, we're actually gonna use this red. Which is actually my high school colors. The high schools I went to. I went to 3 different high schools. And that's too dark, so I'm going to bring it up a bit. Look here. So now I'm going to get rid of the grid. We don't need that. Alright. I think I'm gonna scrunch everything down vertically a bit. That's more what I'm looking for. I should be doing the mirror. Shift down, I mean. So that way I'm doing all 4 sides at once. So, otherwise I could just be using the line tool. But then I'd have to make 4 lines, and I have to make sure they're all perfectly symmetrical. And sometimes that's easier, sometimes this is easier. When it comes to 4 lines versus 4 pixel lines, you know, like drawing each thing, it's about the same. Alright. Now I want to fade the yellow. Not fade, shade. So we got like our very most darkest, which I'm not sure if we should put it on the outside or if we should put it on the inside of the line here. Pixel art always leaves that open. You can always make it 1 pixel further out, like grow a pixel or go in a pixel. I'm talking about shading. And I think I'm going to grow a pixel here. And I only want it on the bottom, because on the top I'm going to do a different pixel. Since this sign is only going to be read vertically here. I also got some great feedback today on the stream that I was watching, where they asked us what we were doing over the weekend, and I mentioned my game, since that was a big part of my weekend. And she wanted to play it, so I was like, yeah, cool, you know. And she liked it. She said that it was a great concept and that was fun. I mean, obviously it needs a lot of work, but it pointed out to me that like the pit wasn't as obvious as I thought it was. The text that I had there was too long, didn't read for the most part. So that was the inspiration of the sign here. Because road signs, you know, not so much road signs, but like workplace signs. Oh, there's. I thought I was using the wrong tool. They're so similar. I wish they had better GUI elements. And this looks just like the line tool too. It's like, could they get any more similar with their GUIs? But enough complaining about free software. Very capable free software, I would say. There's some pretty good phone apps that are free too. I definitely use my phone to make pixel art when I'm bored. Alright, so we've got our, what I think is our lightest and our lowest, so we're gonna go a step up and just start shading inward here. And we'll try with the line now, because sometimes it's just good to change things out of boredom. Getting bored, change it up. Also, experimentation is always great, because then, you know, you get a better idea of what's quickest and what works best for you, what you enjoy the most. So let's see what this looks like. Cool, it looks like a sign. The only thing it needs is like rivets that are holding it up, and there's actually room right here for the rivets, or I could make really tiny ones. I think I'm gonna make medium-sized ones, and I'm gonna put them on the inside, like the rivets were part of the design when they were doing it. This is a sci-fi game. It'd be nice if in the future they left room for design. That might be too big, I think, yeah. But the inside is perfect, so I'll just delete it, make a new layer, and try again here. It goes smaller than that even. Oh, what did I do there? Not the best with the circle tool in this software. Didn't even see that. I am getting tired. Alright, I'm gonna squint and then just fall asleep on you. I'm just joking. Alright, let's see here. It sure is hard to tell without the other ones. I think it's too big though. I think that inside shape is what's good. Bring it in, or out. Yeah, I think that's where it's at. So we got rivets, and now I just need to fill in the characters, the images, the whatever they're called, exclamation point there. Alright, what color do I want here? I think I want that color, but just in case, I'm gonna make it like slightly different variation. Whoa, wrong button there. I think that works perfect. Now, the reason why I made it a slightly different variation is so that way I could change it if I want to later, but I don't think it needs to be changed, and it kind of makes it read better. Nah, you know, I am gonna change it. I'm gonna change the outside one to be just a little bit darker. Yeah. And bring the arrow up just a little bit, even though I liked it before. For some reason, with all the elements, I feel like it needs to come up just a bit. I'm gonna bring the whole thing up just a little bit. And I think that's it. Yeah, it's pretty big for the size of the text. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make the text bigger. That's alright though. It's really easy to do that. So I can't get that. So I'm doing it again. Alright, so I'm just gonna cut it and open it up like that much. Same thing here, so it was 2 pixels. Alright, now here I'm gonna have to open up this as well. I'm gonna scoot this up because this needs to be opened as well. Alright, and then I'm going to start drawing. So I'll just use the mirror tool. The easiest. Alright. I like it. It's like a little bit wide, but it fits the sign. It kind of reads as one element though, so I'm gonna bring that arrow down just a bit. And sometimes this is designed for you. You just have to wiggle things around until they look good. And honestly, it could stand to just be a little bit taller here. So I'm just gonna do that real quick.
Listen to it and imagine everything that was happening.
And now it's a little bit close to the top, but that's okay. I'm gonna bring the whole thing, or this part down a bit. Just 1 pixel. Sometimes that's all it takes. I'm good. I'm gonna stop messing with it now. I'm gonna save it. I'm happy with it. I'm gonna call it we'll call it Warren, but we'll call it Warren's sign. Alright, we got a sign now, and we've got a new set of worn arrows. We didn't export those though, so first I'm going to export this.
There's a monster inside that's attacking everybody, and it turns out the monster is made out of drugs.
I'm just going to put it with the rest of it so it doesn't get confused. Worn arrows too. Alright, so here I've got it on different layers here, so I'm gonna have to mess with it a bit here. First of all, I don't need that. Second of all, I just don't like how that's white still. Alright, so that's on one layer. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut and then make a new layer and paste, and cut and make a new layer and paste. So now everything's on a separate layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything on the left together and everything on the right together. So I'm just going to move this all the way up and move this all the way up. Move this all the way up. Alright, so now merge that down, merge that down. This layer can be deleted. Merge that down, merge that down. Alright, so now we've got two different layers. This one's got an issue with it, it looks like. What's going on with that? Oh, I should have taken care of that before I merged them. Alright, so what happened there? I'm just gonna redo the animations later, because that's confusing me. Alright, now we can merge down. Okay, that's not what I want. That's what I want. Alright, so now I'm gonna color them again.
Your feeble efforts amuse me. Take this.
Alright, so that one's back. it's looking like an OBS here. Check. Yeah, it looks okay. I mean, it looks like you can hear me over the music. I'm gonna turn down just a little bit in case. How's this? Probably a little bit better. Alright. Got our blinkies. So I'm going to save it again. It's going to save over it. And now I'm going to delete one there. And export the other. We're just gonna delete the other layer. Oh, didn't wanna hit that button. We got a little sleepy. We got that. Alright. So we're gonna make that script now to make the arrows go up and down. We'll call it one track. Warn arrow track. And in the warn arrow track script. Now we're in Mono Develop. Visual Studio bumped out on me. Apparently it was a free trial. Excuse me. Okay, so we're gonna need a public variable. It's usually a good spot to start. And it's gonna be a transform. And this one's gonna be called the orb. And then we're gonna make another one. And we're gonna call this one Warn Arrow. Alright. So this script is gonna be put on both arrows, so there'll be two instances of the script running. So it'll just pretend like both arrows are the same. It's just going to move them vertically up and down. But yeah, it's not going to worry about horizontal at all. So they'll be doing the same thing. It doesn't matter. Alright, so in the update function, we're going to need to move something at the rate. So let's go back to our public or our variables. We're gonna add another public float, and we'll call this one. Let me see here. Well, we want to speed first. So that, but we also need call it step. You know what? One of these has to be a vector 3. since we're making a vector 3, what we really want out of it is the position. So we're going to make we're just going to put POS at the end for short for position, because that variable is going to hold the position of the vector 3 for one arrow. So it's just basically going to know where it is. Okay, so in the update function, and I'm looking off of scripts that I found online here on Unity Answers. We're going to use the move towards function. It's like a built-in function with Unity. It's a vector 3 function. So we're going to do transform position, and then we're going to do vector 3 move towards, and so this is going to be the y versus the vector speed, and I mean the y value is going to be the transform here. And I just explained it there. I don't know. Anyways. Oh, that's not what I want. This is going to be the warrant. Arrow. Position. And then we're going to do step after that. But I messed up on step. It's supposed to be in the update function as well here. This is going to make sure that it works at the same speed no matter what the frame rate is, essentially. No matter what the game time is, it's going to still move at the same speed. So even if the computer's slowing down or running a whole bunch of processes and stuff, the speed will still be the same. For that we need sure what this script is going to do, but we have to try it. Reading something here, drag it over. So this is what I've been writing here at the top, which is obviously not correct since it's the guy asking the question here. And it doesn't look like it's completely answered here, but this guy seems to know what he's talking about. Since you can easily basically split a vector 3 into 3 of its parameters, which is what I need. So let's see. This is all the same. New y position equals the new vector 3, so that's pretty easy. We'll see if monodevelop will let me copy and paste. That's the one thing that fucking monodevelop can't do. Hey, it worked. And then we're gonna take a look back. The new y is gonna be that. I was thinking that didn't look right. But it's not player position, it's this one. That should fix it. What is the Unity doing? Did I fuck something up? So I need to make something for Y. Oy. Well, thinking that some sleep might be beneficial at this point. Because I know this isn't that difficult. And for some reason I'm scratching my head when I shouldn't be here. And I'm sure it's because of the sleep reason here. I'm even starting to talk funny. Yeah. So, if you haven't watched recently, we've got our boss up here. I hit play. Oh, all the errors need to be done before I can hit play. What's it? Oh, phew. There's a parenthesis missing. That's the issue. That's funny. So if I hit play, we can see that these things aim at the ball when it gets close enough. I can just move that up real quick. Yeah. So there you have it, the boss. Yeah, I got it. So I made the sprites, but I haven't put them on there yet. So it'll get damaged, and maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get an early start on it. Maybe even start before 1, but if not, I'll try to do it by 1. And then I'll probably do a second stream as well if there's nothing else going on. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna get some sleep here. Have a great night, and take care. Have a good one. Yeah. Peace.